Industry people often find codes and standards boring or complex or overly conservative. Well, for the last part, it may be true as some codes have higher design margins than other codes which some believe to be conservative. Also, if we look at the various codes and standards, for example, ASME, API, ASTM, etc., there are hundreds and hundreds of pages, mostly in plain text, and at most in between pages we have a 2D sketch, and that too in monotone. And engineers who span their careers in this field often scroll through these pages, which often are plain text pages. Even if we look at, let's say, only ASME BPVC codes, they have grown in volume from 114 pages at the beginning in 1915 to around 20,000 pages these days. And we skim through it in routine, not to mention hundreds of other codes and standards and company practices and handbooks and local regulations. Obviously, I cannot name all here. And to complicate it further, unless we dig deep, we'll not be able to get to the science or reason behind the code, clauses and statements. So for a distant person, code looks complex and confusing, but for those who have passion for it, may actually find it engrossing, and that's true in every field. Obviously, I was referring here about codes in general and not specifically about, let's say, ASME BPVC codes, which some industry professionals believe to be conservative or overly complex. As clearly highlighted by ASME in almost all of their construction codes, especially BPVC codes, that code stipulate minimum safety requirements, and ASME alerts users that code are not handbooks or step-by-step user guides. Obviously, it seems natural as code application encompasses almost all industrial sectors, and all of their requirements can't be covered by a single code. Furthermore, the vessel may have different service, dimension, shape, material, assembly, or even location. Also, engineers who practice these codes in their plant needs to have sound engineering judgment. And it's a specific term being used in the code, and it emphasizes on users' knowledge and experience in applying the principles of pressure vessel engineering. Moreover, this judgment needs to be in alignment with code rules and must never overrule a code requirement or a specific prohibition. Additionally, to be considered a valid ASME code or a standard, a document must be suitable for repetitive use, should be enforceable, that is, it is written in such a way that any person who wants to audit the use of this code can point out whether the requirements are followed or not, for example, for audit or third-party inspection. Code should have definite requirements and should not be general in nature. It should be realistic. Requirements that are unrelated, excessive, or more restrictive than necessary should not be included. It should be authoritative. That is, requirements should be technically correct and accurate. Code write-up should be complete. That is, all areas open to question or interpretation should be covered. Code write-up should be clear. That is, it expresses the requirements in simply understood language without any ambiguity. It should be consistent, and requirements should not be contradictory. Should not cover too broad a scope and should be concise. We hear a lot of alternate terms for technical specifications in the industry. We will discuss here few terms that are very common and are sometimes used interchangeably. First is the standard. Standard is often defined as a set of technical guidelines that function as instructions for designers, manufacturers, or users. Generally speaking, it serves as a common language within industry for construction. Plainly, we can say it a how-to-do instruction for equipment. For example, API standards. Second term is code. A code is a standard that has been adopted by one or more governmental bodies and is enforceable by a law or a business contract. Third item is company practice. It is a specification that outlines company requirements. It may be based on international standards or on the company experiences itself. Some part of it may go beyond code requirements, or it can be more restrictive. For example, Shell, DEP, Exxon, engineering practices, and Aramco, SAES, etc. Several companies that doesn't have their own specifications sometimes adopt PIP, which is abbreviation for Process Industry Practice. And fourth is regulation. A regulation is mandated by a government body for compliance and usually does not require industry consensus, unlike code or standard, which obviously is a consensus document. For example, local environmental or emission regulations. If a company is following a code, it can give them numerous benefits. For instance, famous codes usually have successful history of safe operation, like we have ASME BPVC codes, which spans over a century of successful operations. Moreover, as most of the fabrication workshops and mills are set up to generate equipment or components as per code requirements, especially code which are famous such as ASME Section 8 Division 1, they are inherently following common practices in line with codes. So even if a user doesn't want to go for code, there's not much reduction in cost, which obviously will be at the expense of formal code authentication. Also, code provides standardization that reduces number of queries that fabricator or manufacturer can ask from a client. So in our case, code in some ways can provide users with peace of mind. Pressure vessel and other static equipment's life cycle begins from idea and conception and up to its retirement or removal from service. At the time of conception and basic design, it is client's responsibility to provide input parameters and other requirements. That serves as design basis for further detailed design, usually done by manufacturer using codes such as ASME Section 8 Division 1 or 2. Obviously, we are considering here the American code life cycle. The vessel then goes into construction and commissioning phase, and then it comes into operation. During operation, company or a licensor procedure and best practices are implemented. Then there is a need to inspect vessel during its operation to ensure integrity, and these days RBI methodology using API 580 and API 581 standards are often utilized apart from other conventional inspection methods. Then in case of any finding, vessel may enter into FFS domain to assess the extent of damage and or re-rating of vessel. If there is a need for repair or re-rating, there are PCC, which are post-construction codes, API 510 and NBIC code that provides post-construction repair methodology. In case if the repair is successful or vessel is re-rated, then it may return to service, else the vessel will finally retire from service.